Good morning, everybody, and let's have a seat. Welcome to Shakti Flow. We'll just welcome in the moment, welcome in the practice. Bring hands to heart. When we make this gesture of our hands at our heart, it can mean a lot of things, but in yoga, it means sort of the connection to the heart and the mind and the universe all at once. And the language is wisdom on left hand, compassion on the right hand, together at the heart center. And just bring anything into the practice this morning that's important for you, that's showing up for you. And I'm going to ask you a question that one of my teachers asked me, and I thought it was pretty important. Check in with your fatigue level. It seems like a funny question, but most of us are running on a little bit of an empty tank, either energetically, physically, mentally. So if there's any fatigue anywhere in the body or in the mind, just know that it's here. Maybe moving around will expand a little bit more and the fatigue will melt away. And then as you kind of collect that intention in your mind, hold it between these two hands at your heart center. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, releasing, hands down, eyes open. Okay, so now we're going to start standing on the mat. And I've been mixing up the class a little bit with this idea of flossing, fascia flossing. You might have heard me talking about it. So we'll do a little bit of that after we warm up. All right, so standing in the middle of the mat, you can put a block between your legs if you'd like to do that with your practice, because maybe your knees and your back and your hips like it. Remember, that's a stability anchor. My blocks are over here. It's a stability. So if you've got instability in your sacrum, lower back, knees, hips, that's a really nice practice. But from here, I just want you to go into an easy standing Tadasana. So palms open, shoulders on your back. The tendency is to push the belly forward. So draw everything in so that you feel contained. We're going to work with this idea of container today in this torso while we move around. So as we inhale, just sit back into an easy chair pose, squat, if you will. Palms are up. And we're just going to pay attention to what's present when we're in this. Ankle, knee, and hip are all flexing. Spine's nice and long. Your depth is your choice. And then as you inhale, bring your arms back a little bit, squeeze your shoulder blades. Again, try not to push the belly forward. Keep it contained. And then reach back with your hips, arms forward. And then inhale, come up. So super slow, just pay attention to what's present. These are called chair poses in yoga, but they're squatting in functional actions, functional movement patterns. Inhale. And one more. In. So we're going slow on purpose. And then the next movement pattern I want you to pay attention to is what we call a hip hinge. So the arms are going to stay back. You're going to hinge from your hips. Notice that I'm not bending my knees like this. I'm keeping my legs fairly straight. Only thing moving is my hips. Come back up. Keep your shoulders on your back, your palms facing open, so that you can start to sense and feel what your body movement pattern is. Now everybody's different here. I want you to keep your legs, your knees can be soft, but your legs are pretty much straight. The hamstrings, the back of the legs will stop you. And even this little action that we're doing right now is what we call flossing the tissues. All right, now let's just go back and forth, sitting in that squat, coming back up, moving into the hinge, and coming back up. Sitting in the squat, come back up, hinge. Get this in your body. Get the difference in your body. These are functional movements. We do them all the time. Shoulders on your back, nice long spine. Containing the middle of the body so that we're not overly, excessively using any particular torso muscle. And we'll do one more round, sitting forward and back, and then hinging. Good, and then go ahead and release. Hook your thumbs, so you're standing in Tadasana still. Hook your thumbs, I'm gonna stay standing sideways. I want you to try to pull your hands apart as you inhale, go up. When you get up here, try to pull your hands apart like but your thumbs are holding you in place. And then round your back, bend your knees in like a cat pose. And then inhale, come back up, look up. Exhale, round your back like cat pose. Inhale, look, and come back up. So we're now flossing the spine. Keep the action in your arms so that your shoulders stay away from your ears and they're connected to the back of your body. Remember that shoulders live on the back body, not on the front body. Good. All right, now hold at the top wherever you happen to be. And I want you to turn and look towards your right. Press into your left foot more. Keep pulling on your arms. Swing around and look to your left. Press into your right foot more. Notice what side you have more freedom on. And then come back to center and release it. Good. Roll the shoulders. Interlace your fingers behind you. Normally we do it this way. Can you hook your thumbs? Now, if you've got arthritis in your thumbs and that doesn't feel good, go ahead and hook your fingers. Bend your elbows. Extend your chest open. Remember the container. And then extend your arms. If you've got your thumbs, this is a lot more work. So just know that you've got that choice. Bend your knees. We're going to move into that squat. And then we're going to move into the hinge. So keep your arms where they are. Hinge. Come up. And squat. And come up. And hinge. And come up. And squat. One more time. So your arms don't have to be away from your body. Mine are hovering right around my back. And one more time. Hinge. And up. This time when you squat, stay there. Bring your arms forward. Hook your thumbs again if you can. Bring your arms up over your head. So now we're in full chair pose. Pretty challenging. So if this is too much, arms stay here. Contain the front body. So ribs in without dropping. Core body's engaged. One more breath. Exhale, release the arms. Come all the way down so that you're in a forward fold. Plant your hands and come to plank pose. So when you're in plank pose, just let your feet be in a neutral position. Notice if your heels are going backwards. I want you to lift your heels up so that your feet are active. Knees and lifted. Belly, front body lifted. Work on the head, sliding back slightly. And then let your knees drift down. Slowly lower yourself to the mat. Shoulders on your back, lift up in a low cobra, meaning belly is on the floor. Lower down, push up, and go to downward facing dog. Take your time in downward facing dog. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and lower your knees. And I want you to take your right foot forward. If you have blocks, I want you to use them. We're just going to floss the tissues of the back body here so that we can work better, I think, with the structure of the squats and the hinges. So find your forward position. Your back leg will usually stop you. And do you remember the drill? You push down into your front leg, you pull it backwards to activate the hamstring, and then you go slowly back towards wherever you can go, keeping the action in your leg. When you get to your edge, you release it and come forward. Now, push, pull, and then if you want, you can lift the ball of your foot while you're dragging your leg backward. Release it, come forward. Push, pull, lift the ball of your foot, glide backward. So you're continually trying to keep this action in your leg while you go backwards. This is the juice. If you purchased my new 20-minute practices that I just released yesterday, they're on that Black Friday special. A little selfless. Yeah, a little selfless promotion. This particular practice is in it. Flossing fascia flow. All right, one more time. Push, pull, and back. Why do I care about this? Because I think it really helps our joints and our mobility. Go ahead and relax, change sides. Because we can strength train and do all the things, but when we're working with the joints and the mobility, especially as we age, we need all the tools we can get. So let your hips move forward. Again, push, pull, and then glide backward. You can leave your foot flat on the floor, or you can lift the ball of the foot up. Play with both and see which one you get, more juice out of. If you lift the ball of the foot up, you're going to get more in your calf muscle. And then forward. Good. And you're just gliding in and out. That's all you're doing. The action in the muscle is when you go back, you relax it as you come forward, you push, pull, and glide, coming back. And if you're like me, you'll notice that the first couple feel kind of restricted and then things start to loosen up. And you can feel this in your leg, in your hip, and in your back. Good. Go ahead and release. All right, find downward facing dog again. See if that feels any different to you. Palms really rooted into the floor. Try not to overwork your shoulders. Go ahead and bend your knees almost to the floor. So the tendency is to come forward into table, and that's fine. If you want a little bit more oomph, stay back into this dog pose. And then extend the legs. And then bend the knees almost to the floor. If I want it to be a little bit more available to me and it feels too hard, come towards table and then go down towards dog. If you want a little bit more intensity, you stay back in that dog pose while you bend and straighten the legs. Choose. Working on legs, knees, hips. Good. One more time. And bend. And straighten. Terrific. Let's take a walk to the front of the mat. Find your forward fold. Grab a hold of your elbows. Touch your legs and let your knees be a little bit soft. You're going to pull your arms so that they're alongside your head. And then touch your knees and then alongside your head. Now we're going to start to move, slowly coming up. So I want you to imagine I have a hold of your elbows, or your fingers are my elbow, my hands. Now I'm going to start lifting you. I'll go about halfway up and then release. Go about halfway up, get your spine long, and then release. Your fingers are my fingers, and I'm lifting you up. Can you feel that extension of your spine? Now start to go higher and higher. Take about 3 or 4 to get all the way to the standing position. One more. All the way up, stand. Elbows should be along the side of your head. Stay here, press into your feet, and laterally bend to one side. Keep your eyes forward and try not to fold forward. Inhale, come up, and fold the other way. Whew. Inhale, come up, and then let your arms go. All righty. You ready to pick up some weights? Let's pick up the light weights to get started with the arms, and then we'll transition into the heavier. Let's take the legs a little bit wider apart. We'll let the legs rest for a minute. We'll go back to them in a bit. So knees are bent. Last week we worked a lot with the depth of this particular position. Today, not so much. All right, bend your elbows. Palms are to the sky. Lightweight, please. So crisscross hands. Open, palms up, and then reach to the walls. So my arms are a little bit ahead of my shoulders. Pull the elbows in, crisscross hands, open, reach, down, crisscross, open, reach, So if the weights get too heavy, this extended position out here can really be challenging. So you got to find your sweet spot. Okay. The next time your arms come back to your side, I want you to sit just a little deeper. Just sit a little deeper and then stay there. Open. Tailbone towards the earth. Ribs are in. Good. Palms are up. Crisscross. Open. Up. One more. Crisscross. Open. Up and down. All right, relax your legs a little bit. I want you to take your left foot and make it straight. This foot's going to be wherever you want it to be. I'm going to point it to my mat edge. And I'm going to work with this back arm. So this is for the shoulder. I want you to think about hitchhiking. Has anybody ever hitchhiked in their day? I want you to turn your palm down and touch the inner thumb side to your knee or your inner leg. And then turn the palm up and hitchhike back. Turn the palm down, hitchhike down, and turn the palm back. And so you're just going wherever your body, your shoulder allows. These are external, internal rotation movements, really important for the health of the shoulder. I'm going to add a piece here. See how you like it. So the palm is up. I want you to lower it to your leg and lift it back up and then go back in. Hitchhike, lower. And if that lowering phase feels way too edgy, keep it out. It's a pretty strong move for your shoulder. Down, open, lower. We'll do one more. Down, open, lower. And then bring your hands to your chest. Come off your back foot and face your short edge of your mat or forward in your case. Alrighty, so we're going to lean forward, hinging on this front leg hip. This back leg I want to start feeling light. Okay, pull your elbows by your sides, extend your arms straight back, belly, ribs in, and easy tricep work. Push. I want all of your weight, if not most of it, on this front leg. So this is a one-legged squat that you're basically standing in, which is why it feels hard. All right, last two, one more. Now come all the way up, bring your weights to your chest. Now this next move is optional. I want you to think about putting your weights down on the floor, bending your back knee. Come back up to your chest. I got to put them down on the floor. You got to come back up. Back knee is bending wherever you can go. Maybe you can't get to the floor. Maybe you only go halfway down. That's okay. We're primarily working this front leg. One more. Down and up. Good. Come back to center. Take your legs together. Shake them out a little, because I know that was a lot. And then come back to that wide stance. Now let's do the other side. So this leg is going to stay straight. Point the other one in whatever direction so that your knee can flex. And you're going to hold that one weight in your hand. Palm down, thumb to the inside of your leg. Hitchhike back. Palm down to the inside. Now you've got a weight in your hand, so don't your leg. Gentle. Good. Down. Keep going. And open. Just going to take a little peek here. Good. And continue to think about that back arm. When you get back there again, stay and lower the arm and lift it. So thumb side down, hitchhike, down and lift. Working shoulder, open, down and lift. Notice your whole chest open up here. Open, and let's do one more of these. Feels a lot better on this side than it does on the other side for me. Down and up. Good. Bring your weights to your chest. Pick up your back foot and face the short end or the front side of your mat. And then shift your weight forward into your front leg. So this leg becomes nice and light. Elbows to your back body, press and release. Press and release. So a lot of times we're standing on one leg, we don't even realize it when we go to pick something up or go to step down off of a curb or go up and down stairs. So how strong are you on one side versus the other? Back. Let's do 2 more. Push. And then bring your weights to your chest and think about this back knee bending a little bit so you can put the weights down on the floor and come back up. Down and come back up. And down and come back up. So I'm working on the inside of my front leg. The back leg is helping me balance, but the front leg is doing most of the work. Down and up. Down. And you might notice that you're stronger on one side than the other, and that's your habit. That's your functional pattern that you do all the time. One more time. Down. Now this time go down and put the weights off to the side of the mat. Hands plant. Plank pose. That was a lightweight set for your arms. So go ahead and play with where you are in your plank pose. I want you to take your feet as wide as your mat. And on your exhale, bring your knee to your opposite elbow. Can you touch it? Switch. Exhale. Touch. Exhale. Touch. Exhale. Touch. Exhale. My head and my shoulders are staying pretty quiet. One more each side. Then pause. Knees on the mat. Elbows bend down. Shoulders on your back, low cobra. Resetting your spine. Lower down. Back to downward facing dog. And breathe. And then go ahead and come down. And we're going to do a little flossing move, number 2. You don't need any weights or anything. And I'm using these flossing actions as a little bit of a rest. Because a really good class has a challenge and then a rest. And a challenge and a rest. Because that's how we move normally. So you're going to come down into table. And then take your hands and put your elbows where your hands are. Palms are down. The action here is that you push down with your hands, glide your elbows backwards, but they're not going to move, and then start to move towards the wall behind you. Get them to your edge, and then release it and come forward. See if you can bring your eyes over your hands. Push, push, pull, and glide back. So you get the action in your arms before you move. Inhale, push down with your hands, pull back with your elbows, belly active, ribs in. And you can go slow or fast, whatever you like to do. It doesn't have to be my tempo. What I want you to feel is the stickiness in your shoulders when you get to a certain point. And that's the connective tissue not really functioning properly. Leads to things like quote unquote arthritis or mobility dysfunction. So you're going to see more and more of this from me interwoven either in a specific class all on its own or throughout my programs because I think it's important. And last one here, push, pull, and glide back. Did you get more range? Good. Come back up, and I want you to stay in this position, elbows here, palms in front of you. I don't want you to move your body forward and back right now. I just want you to push into your hands so that your elbows straighten. Lower down, push up. Lower down, push up. These are what I like to call tricep push-ups or forearm push-ups. If you're not getting any juice, walk your hands back a little bit. Get a little heavier in your hands. My hips are still, so I could even go back more. I want more of the weight on my upper body than on my lower body, so that I can feel the action in my back of my arms. Hopefully you can feel that. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yes. All right. Shake it out. All right, so we're going to play with being in neutral on our knees if we can do it. I don't want you to be here if it's uncomfortable for your knees. If it's uncomfortable for your knees, I want you to stand up. All right, so you're going to go with the heavier weight if you have them. And I'm going to just turn sideways so you can see what I'm going to do. I want to turn the toes under. I want to push back with my feet and draw my tailbone under me so my body is really straight. It's like I'm standing up in Tadasana. So if you can get here, what I want you to think about is picking up your weights. How would you do that? You would hinge, but your hips would have to go back because you'd fall over forward. So this is a squat without your feet. Sit back, pick up the weights, come back up. Sit back, pick up the weights, come back up. Squeeze the glutes when you get there. Down, up. Now add something here. Down, up, curl. Lower, back. Up, curl, lower, back. This is picking up a box. Super hard. Up. This is why I do this work. I was just trying to get my dog, who's about 45 pounds, out of the room. And he wanted to stay in the room. And he just laid down on his back and lifted out, opened his legs and said, nope. And so I'm trying to pick him up. And it's completely dead weight. All right, adding on here. So hold here. See if you can push overhead. Lower down, touch the floor. Lift, up. Now, if you were standing, you wouldn't touch the floor. You would maybe go to your knee level in that squat, like we did in the very beginning. Up, push, down, up, push. It's a lot harder when you don't have your feet, right? One more. And then lift, up. Now hold the weights at your chest. You have to get up off the floor. How are you going to do that? Step forward with a leg. Lean forward a little bit. Push with that front leg and come up. Yeah? Were we successful? Back to that wide stance. Go back to that wide stance. Turn your right foot to face the short edge of your mat. Bend your knee like you're in warrior. And use 1 or 2 weights in your back arm hand. 1 or 2. Knee over the ankle, lean down. So touching the inner foot, pulling up to your ribs or your waist, depending on how long you are. Touch. Working on the back body. Touch. Keep your back leg nice and straight. We're in a warrior stance, so it's strong and powerful. Down and up. Down and up. Last 2. Holding core body strong. Working a little bit on rotation here. Now put the weights down by your foot. Leave them there. Come all the way up, warrior 2. This front knee drifts forward and out. So not in, out. Back outer edge foot down on the floor. And you're going to flip your palms over and go backwards. Press this back leg backward into your hand. Can you feel that? And then forearm on your front thigh, take your arm over your head. Check in with your front knee. Is it over your front ankle? And then come back up. Push your back leg into your hand as you reverse. Come back and over. Now take this top arm, drop it on the floor, come into lunge here, and twist to the left. Breathe. Pause. Good. Hands to the floor, step forward, watch out for your weights. Think about hinging. Come halfway up, shoulders on your back. We did this before. Squat, arms forward, hinge, arms back. Squat, hinge. Now stay in the hinge and just stand. Good. Other side. Pick up your weights. Wide stance. Weights go in the other hand. You're going to spin that leg open and knee over the ankle. This back foot can stay straight or it can turn inward depending on your hip. Alrighty, so we've got the weights, or one weight or two in this hand. You're going to come down on your forearm. You're going to take the weights to your inner foot and row without coming off your forearm. So down and pull. You might remember a class where I taught you all the different functional movement patterns. There's pushing, there's pulling, there's squatting, there's hinging, there's gait, like you walk, and rotation. So lots of different things. Down. So I try to include them in almost every class I do. One more. Down. And I want this action to be really strong, whatever you can do. Let the weight come to the floor and spiral up into warrior two on this side. Check in with your alignment. Remember, this knee wants to fall inward. I want you to think about lifting your inner arch so that the knee tracks over the baby toe. Hand on your back leg, reverse, and push the leg into the hand and the leg into the hand into the leg. So there's some action going on in your muscle. Come down, up and over. Try not to collapse, keeping your chest open. Let's do that once more, up and over, and reach. Really thinking about expanding through the side, but what are you doing with your front body? And then come down and over, keeping that knee over that ankle. Here we go with the transition, hand on the floor, watch out for your weights. Pivot off of your back heel and twist open to the other side. Breathing. Let your head fall back into the pillow, open your chest. And then go ahead and release your hand and step forward. Drop the hips down as low as you can. In fact, take your feet as wide as the mat. We'll practice this movement pattern. I want you to lift up off your heels, bend your knees, and see if you can come all the way through. We've been working on this one, and it's hard. If you've got swelling in your knees, it's not going to work all the way down. Up, keep your heels high, and then drop your heels. Two more. My fingers are helping me balance. I want full range of motion if I can get it. And if I can't get it, I'm going to ask myself, why don't I have full range of motion today? And down. Good. Soft knees, hinge up, and then stand up. Alrighty. So now we're going to play with hinging and squatting with weight if you want. You don't have to do this part. You can just do it without weight. These are functional movement patterns, and we're trying to strengthen what I just did. Did you see I just bent down and picked up my weights? So we're going to go back to the squatting and the hinging, which we've already done. We're going to add on. So I'm going to stand sideways. I want you to stand in your Tadasana. I'm not going to bring the arms forward, so I'm going to keep them down. And we're just going to move into that squat, whatever that is for you. Check in with your ribs. Make sure your shoulders are on your back and your eyes are forward. So this is your squat. Stand. Keep your hands by your legs and go into your hinge. Where are you there? Up. Squat. Up. Hinge. Up. Squat. And you notice that my movement pattern up is a little stronger than when I go down. I want you to do that on purpose. And this is, I'm picking something up off the floor and I'm training my body to get lower and lower. If you notice, you're probably doing that yourself. We could call this flossing if we wanted to. Okay, one more time. Squat and hinge. All right. Now, progression. If you want, we're doing it on one leg. So I'm going to keep my left leg straight I'm gonna put my right leg behind me, and then remember that action I had before where it was light? I don't have my weight back here. We're gonna do the same movement pattern, and if it feels too hard, I want you to go back to 2 legs. So squat first, go about halfway down, wherever you think you can go. Stand, and then hinge. Stand, squat. You might need to go slower because this is a little bit edgier. There's a lot more going on with one leg. Up. Every time you come up, tighten your glutes and pull your shoulders on your back. Every time. And you might notice that as we go back and forth, you get lower and lower. That's you working your fascia. One more. Anybody else find this hard? We're overly ambitious this morning. And up. Switch legs or do the same thing. One more cycle. Try to get your weight on your front leg. You're going to use your back leg for sure. Here we go. Squat down first. Up. And then hinge. And up. And if you've ever done any kind of like athletic races, my ex-husband used to run triathlons and biathlons. And he would say that the hardest thing was the transition from one pattern to another. And you might notice this here. It's like, wait, I'm doing a squat and then I have to hinge right away? What? One more. And if you're weaker on one side, that gives you some information. All right. All righty. Take a break. Set your weights down. Come to the top of your mat. Hands come together like we did in the beginning. Is there any residue happening in your body? Any residue happening in your mind? If you did that sequence with me, that was freaking hard. So give yourself a little acknowledgement. Reach up, reach up, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hinge. Halfway up, right? Exhale, fold. Plank pose, last time. Now, your hands can be whatever distance apart. I just want you to use your fingers. Make sure your body's forward. And your feet are a little bit apart. We're going to drop the heels to the, let's start with the right. So my right hand gets heavy, maybe my left hand comes up. Maybe. Hand down, come to center. Heels go to the left. Left hand gets heavy, maybe right hand comes up. Come to the center. Knees on the floor. One push-up. And then go back to the plank. Right heels, left hand up. Lower. Right heels, or left heels, right hand up. And down. Knees on the floor. 2 push-ups. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. Plank, last one. Heels go to the right. Left hand comes up, maybe, right? It's a maybe. Come down. Heels go to the left. Right hand comes up. Down. Knees on the floor. Make sure your hands are lined up with your shoulders and not ahead of your body. And we got 3 push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Stay down. Release your toes, shoulders on your back, cobra. Take a break. Exhale, hands on your head on your hands. So you're lying on your belly. Taking a moment here. It's okay to work hard, but remember to always check in with that fatigue level. Because that fatigue level, a lot of us can push through, and all it does is make us more exhausted, and we start to have system failure. You know, like what happens to your car if you just stop putting gas in it. You just keep asking it to keep going and going and going. Eventually the car won't run anymore. our bodies are a little bit more resilient, and we can make ourselves do a lot of things when we should really rest. So in between a lot of those harder intensities, we take a moment to rest. Yeah. Okay, so from here, if you can bring your, I'm gonna move my mat. If you can bring your hands over your head, you can have your light weights near you, but you may not want to use them. It's going to be your choice. Oh, those are my heavies. I don't want those. So if you're going to use your weights, your hands are holding the weight so that they're end to end on the floor. Again, you don't have to, but your thumb should be up. I want you to pull your belly button up into the body and feel how your pubic bone anchors down. And then lift your right leg and your left arm. Lower down, belly button in, pubic bone anchors, right arm, left leg. Lower down and lift. So you're alternating sides, going nice and slow, making sure that your foundation, which is your pelvis, is anchored. And then if you're doing it without the weights and you think, that's not that hard, pick up the weights and see what it feels like. If it goes right into your shoulders, the answer is no. You want this to be in your back. And I've got my table in my way, so I'm just going to do it without the weights because I feel like I'm fussing too much. All right, so you're inhaling on the way up, exhaling on the way down. Now, if you're supersonic and you're real strong, you can do all four at the same time. Please don't force that. Lower down, not everybody's back likes it. And height is not the important part here. One more time. And then rest. Head on your hands. Pick up your feet. And windshield wiper your feet side to side. Releasing tension in your lower back if there was any. And then I want you can keep your arms where they are. And I want you to settle your feet down and bring them together. Your knees don't have to touch, but bring your feet together. Lift your head up off your arms and bring your feet towards your head. Okay? If you flex your feet and the only thing touching is your heels, you might not get a cramp in your hamstring. And then ask yourself, does that feel like anything? For me, it doesn't. So I'm going to walk my elbows further back and I'm going to push my chest up higher. And you can decide where you go. Some people could be all the way up in Sphinx. I'm about halfway down. And I heel towards head, head towards heel. Just holding that, breathing. You could push your elbows into the mat and try to drag backwards. And you feel the activation in your core, which will allow your head and your feet to get closer together. Take another deep breath. Release it and come down. Good. Turn over onto your back body. Taking a second here to move everything out of the way. Once you're on your back body, reset your pelvis by lifting your hips up and putting them back down. I want you to rock your lower back up and down a little bit, just massaging anything. Checking in with yourself here. If you happen to have neck issues and you don't want to be picking your head up off the floor, grab a blanket or something, some kind of pillow that you can put under your head. It doesn't have to be high, but the neck doesn't like to go from the floor, especially if your chin tends to jut up and then away from the floor. So hands behind your head, interlacing fingers, elbows open. I want you to take your right leg down, leave your left leg up. As you inhale, push your elbows open more and push your heel to the floor and arch your back. And as you exhale, pull the belly in, pull the elbows up, and lift your foot and your eyes to about the same height. Release, inhale, elbows open, arc the spine, exhale, belly flat, lift. Now I'm not able to lift myself all the way up, and I'm not asking you to do that. but some people have a bigger range with this. Inhaling and exhaling. So we're working right side psoas, which connects the leg to the torso. And then I'm going to add a little piece in here. You can decide if you want to do it. So when you come up the next time, exhale up, pick up your left knee and bring it to your right elbow. Lower it down, lower everything down. Exhale, leg and head, and then maybe left knee to right elbow and down. Last time, exhale, and cross and down. Rest. Switch your legs out. Taking a moment to make sure you're set up properly. When you inhale, elbows press open. Feel the body kind of lift a little bit off the floor. Press your heel. Exhale, belly down. Close the elbows and then lift the foot up so that it's level with your own foot or own head. Lower down. I was going to do another exercise. And exhale. Now I'm not pulling on my head at all. I'm just supporting the weight of my head. Inhaling. The more important part is that you're working with the spinal flexion and extension. Heel presses, elbow presses, back arches. Everything lifts, back goes flat. Now, if you want to add that rotation in, as you exhale and lift, you lift your right leg, cross it to your left elbow. Down and release. Exhale, lift. Cross, down, and release. No joke. Exhale, cross, and release, and down. Terrific. Take your arms away from hands, away from your head, and come into cactus arms. Bend your knees and bring them as wide as the table mat. And then letting your knees just drift right to left. We did this when we were on our bellies. This more familiar movement. See if you can't get your hand into cactus, 90 degrees at the elbow. And if that's too hard, make it 45 degrees. And if that's too hard, arms straight. But we're looking for that external range of motion that, again, weak on a lot of people. And we worked on that in the very beginning. Remember the very beginning? All right, come to center. Take your right leg up in the air and interlace your fingers around the right thigh. Bend your knee a little bit and then push your heel up to the ceiling, straightening your leg. Now, if that feels okay, I want you to lower your left leg down on the floor so both legs are straight and open all of your toes on your right foot. Can you do that? My pinky toe doesn't want to participate this morning. Push the leg into your hand and you're resisting with your hand. You should feel your hamstring. And then see if you can't release that push and maybe the leg will come a little closer. Keep the leg straight though, don't cheat. Push the leg into the hand, try to open all the toes. Good. Now turn the foot a little bit inward and you can use your hands to manipulate your thigh. And then turn your foot a little bit outward and use your hands and go back and forth. So what we're doing right now is we're flossing the tissue right at the insertion point where the hamstrings meet. All right, now come back to center, straight leg. Does it want to come any farther? Yes, look at that. Take a deep breath. Exhale, release the leg. Other leg comes up. Keep your right leg bent for the first part. Interlace your hands behind your thigh. Push your leg into your hands. Open all your toes. And if this side feels okay, go ahead and drop your right leg. On this side, all of my toes open. But on my right side, my baby toe was sleeping. Good. With this press into your hands, turn your foot inward and kind of slide your upper thigh inward. And then turn your foot outward and slide your upper thigh outward. And you're going back and forth, trying to work those tissues, the flossing of the tissues. And then find your center ground and then see will the leg come any further. The other way you can work that is bending the knee a little bit and pushing the leg into the hand, and then release the push and see if the leg wants to go. We're tricking the reaction in the muscle. One more breath. Exhale, release. Good. Both feet on the floor. If you've got something behind your head, please move it away. Arms down by your side. Hold the edges of your mat and pull the mat apart like you're trying to rip it in half. Roll your shoulders underneath you. Feet are in neutral. I want you to push into your feet. Lift your shoulders and chest. I'm sorry, chest and hips. Keep pulling the mat apart while you lift your chest up even more. Now, a little variation to bridge pose is to walk your feet closer, come up on the balls of your feet. Remember Barbie feet? Lift up even higher. So if you're here with me and you feel like you can interlace your fingers, pressing your arms down to the mat, keeping your place in your body. See if you can lower your heels without lowering your body. Press your feet like you're trying to slide them forward. Lift your chest up towards your chin. Keep your eyes straight up. Full bridge pose here. One more breath. It should feel good. Nothing should be hurting. And then release your arms, release your body. Adjusting yourself on the mat. And then once you feel ready, you can gently now bring your knees to your chest. I like to wrap my hands around my legs and just hold here, but you can open your knees or do whatever you like. Just don't pull hard. Take one more breath, and if you like, you can exhale, bring your head and your knees toward each other, giving it a little tug now. And then release and come down. Alrighty, let's set up for Shavasana. Remember, you can do whatever you like. If it were my Shavasana, I've got this bolster here. I'd probably put it right underneath my thighs so that it keeps my pelvis in neutral because I have a little bit of a lumbar curve. You might put something over your face or behind your head. Make sure you cover either your lower body up or your whole body with something so that your nervous system can stay quiet. And then as you feel you're stopped moving and you're settled, take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, let the muscles and the bones get heavy, heavy, heavy.
Take a deeper breath. And slowly starting to bring yourself back to your body, back to your space around you. Stretch and move in any way that helps you come back. When you're ready, you can bend your knees, gently roll to a side. And slowly coming up to sitting position. And we'll close the practice. Hands come together again. Wisdom, compassion together at the heart. We can hold that, or we can hold any intention, any presence, any awareness that came through the class. Maybe just taking a moment for acknowledging you showing up for you. Moving your body, the one thing it loves to do more than anything. The body loves to move. It's really happy when it's moving around. Take good care. And gratitude for our time on the mat together, our deep body wisdom and guiding light. May our light always shine brightly, and may we always see the light in each other. Namaste.